All right. So over the next, I don't know, hopefully 60 to 65 minutes, hopefully before lunch, we're going to get through InstallFest, in which you're probably not going to understand specifically what we're doing and why we're doing it. But we're just doing this to get your machines set up with all the software required for you to complete the rest of the program. If you don't understand it, it's totally okay. But yeah. But first, I want to run through GitHub. Everyone should have received an email invite on Friday to the Kilo Platoon's GitHub organization. If you didn't, it's okay. Just put in the Slack channel that you didn't, and I'll send out that invite again to you. So let's run through who's familiar with GitHub? What is GitHub, Ben?
So it's pretty much a server online that hosts all your code, and then also on top of that, there's a bunch of like social stuff.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So yeah, GitHub is essentially an online repository of where you can save and store your code. Instead of having all your code saved on your local machine, you can push it. That's the actual term. You can push it to GitHub, and all your code will be there for you or your group or your company or whatever. So Kilo Platoon, we are the Kilo Platoon organization right now. So this is the Kilo Platoon GitHub organization for Code Platoon's Kilo cohort. Today, we're going to go on the curriculum. So everything for Kilo Platoon, all your code, all your challenges is located in our GitHub Kilo Platoon. So I highly recommend bookmarking this page for future years because you're going to be coming back to it quite often. And the main thing is the GitHub curriculum. There's a repository called curriculum right here. And you could follow along with me. You could have your laptops open and follow along. This is one of the few times that you should be following along. Most of the times your laptop should be closed. But in the Kilo Platoon curriculum, this is where everything is broken down by weeks and days. So we're week 1. Click on week 1. I open up a new tab. And then we have 1-6. That's Monday, today, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So today, if I click this and open up a new tab, in order to open up a new tab, when I click on it, it's just Command, so it opens it up. So Monday, January 6th. This is what we're going to do today. We're going to go through InstallFest. Everyone with me so far? So this is going to be a little, as it says, computer setup. We're going to set up your entire local environment today. So you don't have to reinstall or do anything for the rest of the cohort, hopefully. So the first thing you need to do is download Slack. If you click on the link and open it up, you're going to want to download the Slack from right here, from the white download button, not the download from the Mac store. If you download it from here, it's going to open up Show in Finder, and then just follow the instructions. After that, you don't have to do it right now, but after that, you're going to download Zoom. Zoom is if, for like all the remote students, they're on Zoom right now. If for some reason you get sick and you don't want to bring all your germs to class, you want to stay home and work from home, Zoom is our meeting software that we use. Next, once you download Slack and Zoom and you log into Slack, you can sign up for Operation Code. Rod mentioned this earlier. It's they have a Slack channel. It's a good resource for new developers, veteran developers, everything like that. And it looks something like this. So they got career advice, general, and just overall help. So I recommend signing up for that.
Quick question. You just said they have veteran developers. They mean military veterans or just people with experience in development?
I think it's better, like military veteran developers. Next, we're going to download VS Code for the Mac OS. If you have Windows, use Windows, but you're going to download Mac OS. And whenever you're done installing something, so like for Zoom, click the, drag it out of, like once the software is installed in the downloads folder, click and drag it to your applications folder. A lot of times, like Slack automatically does that, tells you to do it, tells you to drag it in your applications folder. I don't know VS Code, but drag all the newly installed software into your applications folder. This ensures that it's installed at the root level of your machine. So once you download VS Code, download iTerm. I think this is only for Mac OS, not Windows. This is just a terminal, a different terminal to use. Again, if you download it, open it up. I'm zipping. See right here, it's like iTerm 2. If I download it and drag it to my applications folder, I already have one in here, so I don't need to do it, so I can just stop it, but just download everything. And once it's installed, drag it to your applications folder. And so I am going to pause the recording there. And over the course of the next 10 minutes at 10:52, we'll go ahead and get started with InstallFest. In the meantime, go ahead and install all that software. Started the recording. So the next, we're going to actually complete the InstallFest. So the next 30, 40 minutes, depending on how long it takes, might take a little while to install everything because people are going to run into bugs and stuff like that. We're going to have to troubleshoot some things. So the first thing we're going to do is look into Visual Studio Code and use the code command. We're going to skip this part for now, this Visual Studio Code. We're going to go straight into the code. So if you open up your Visual Studio Code, let's open that up. What the hell? Can you guys see my screen? Remote?
No.
Were you able to see it before?
Now we're good.
All right. Was this the first time you've been able to see it?
No, we've been seeing the slides before.
Okay. But not like the intro? For
We
like
saw
the
intro slides, that little second was the first time.
okay. Damn it.
I think we're good now.
All right. Cool. So we're going to skip this. So just reiterate, we installed this stuff, and now we're going to complete the InstallFest by clicking that. And first, we're gonna install all this stuff, Visual Studio Code, which we already did. We're gonna do the code command. We're gonna understand the Unix environment, Homebrew, SQLite, Postgres, Python. First, we're gonna actually skip this Visual Studio Code part and go straight down to where it says code. Everyone with me? So if you open up Visual Studio Code, it's right here like this. And so we're going to install this command that allows you to open a file or directory in VS Code, the text editor, from the command line. After installing VS Code from the website and putting in your application folder, please follow these instructions up into including restart the terminal. So I'm going to click on this link, and we're going to follow these instructions all the way up to restarting the terminal. So you're going to launch VS Code like we just did, right here. We're going to open the command palette. It says F1, type the shell command, which is, I think it's Command-Shift-P. Yep, Command-Shift-P if you're on a Mac. And then you're going to type in shell command. So Command-Shift-P, shell command. And then you're gonna install the code command in path right here. And you're gonna restart the terminal. And what this does, if I open up like the iTerm 2, don't worry if your iTerm doesn't look like this or if like it's all colors and stuff like that. We'll get you there. If I just type in code and period, it will automatically open up VS Code. So again, if I just type in, oops, no. If I do code, period, it will automatically open VS Code. So take the next 5 minutes to install that, and then we're going to get started again. All right, once you have the code portion set up, we're going to install Homebrew. Homebrew is essentially like a package manager, right? It's like a software package manager for your Mac. So by default, Mac, your computer comes with a bunch of stuff installed. But we're developers now, and we want to be able to customize the software and different versions of different software. We want to manage that. And that's what Homebrew is. So let's open up iTerm and follow these. Copy this command, which brew. Don't include the $. Type in which brew. So if I type in which brew, it says user local bin brew. Yours doesn't say that. You can run this command, excluding the $. Don't include the $, and you can install or run that command. So it's going to, is it doing a lot of it installing or anything like that?
No, I installed this, but it's same.
Then run the other command.
What was that?
It's the curriculum, the InstallFest. So if you haven't installed it, or if you're not getting which brew, if you're not seeing this user local bin brew, run this command. And it's going to do a bunch of stuff. It's going to take a little bit. But yeah. So once everyone has that up and running or installed, give it a couple minutes, and then we'll continue on. Once Homebrew is done installing, if it's not installed already, run this command, brew update. Which I'm doing, and it looks like it's doing something. Looks like it might be updating. Or it's just broken. And then after that, run brew doctor.
Just like
We're gonna keep on. We're gonna keep moving on. So once you do brew update, it should say are everything like already up to date, and run brew doctor. Brew doctor, and it should say your system is not ready to brew. Obviously, I've got a bunch of stuff. Fine. And don't worry if everything's not working right away. Don't worry, we will get you up. We'll handle everything individually if something isn't working properly. Yeah. Is it still going through?
Oh, we're gonna do that.
I'll just leave it for the time being. We'll get to it. Next, we're going to adjust the path for Homebrew. Homebrew is going to be installing a lot of packages tools for us, and we need to make sure that when possible, our system is using Homebrew's installed packages. We'll start this by inspecting our path. So we're going to copy and paste this echo path command, excluding, don't include the $. So there we go. If you do that.
I'm getting, I'm sorry, back with the brew doc, I got the new command line for this again.
It's okay. All we have to really ensure is that user local bin comes before user bin and then comes before bin. So I've got user local bin, user bin, and then bin, and you should be good to go. If it doesn't, you're gonna have to open your bash profile and add the following command. We'll get to that if yours isn't updated yet.
It doesn't matter if other things come before those.
No, see, like mine, it's got all this stuff. So I'm going to pause the recording there in the next 3 minutes. Get to that point, then we'll continue. All right, next we're going to install SQLite. SQLite is essentially like a database. Yeah, it's a really light database. It's really just like a file. That's really what it is, but it acts like a database. You're able to do SQL queries on it and stuff like that. So in order to do that, we're going to run the brew install SQLite 3. So brew install SQLite 3. And then after we're done with that, we're going to brew install Postgres. Postgres is just a piece of software that requires a server to interface with. Most of the time, you'll be working with a Postgres database or something like that. After we're done, after you brew install Postgres, run these two sequence of commands in sequence. ln, sf, user local, and then run this one, this launch. What this does is that every time you restart your computer, it's going to automatically start running Postgres in the background. It's going to automatically open or run your Postgres database in the background. Doesn't use a lot of resources, doesn't drain your battery or anything like that, or processing power. Just every time you install or restart your laptop, it's automatically going to boot up Postgres. Once you run those two commands, run the command which Postgres, and you should see that. User local bin Postgres.
I'm seeing no such color right there.
That's this one? I just did actually not just copy this as well. See that this one too?
We'll debug it. After that, after you run the which Postgres command and then the user local bin Postgres, run which Postgres or which PSQL. And you should see user local bin PSQL. And to ensure that all that is working, if you run this ps aux grep Postgres, and if you see anything running, it should be good. It says grep Postgres, a bunch of stuff. So that means the Postgres database is running. Finally, let's see this. I wonder if I drop DB, drop. And to ensure that the Postgres database is running, you can do run this command, create DB user. Create DB user. Oh, so I already have one. So it failed because I already have that, so I can drop the DB. Then if I can run that again, so I'm going to clear my terminal. If you just type clear in the terminal, it clears everything. It really just brings everything to the top, but it's all still there. So in order to see if this works, I can do create DB user. I click enter. See, nothing looks like it happened, which is a good sign when nothing actually looks like it happens. And then I can do PSQL user. Run that. That's actually going to bring me into the Postgres database, the SQL server. So right how this has changed from this to that, this PS, that means I'm inside the SQL server. And in order to get out of that, I can just write \Q and it brings me back to my just normal terminal. So again, you can PSQL in the user right there. It brings me to my SQL server. Then I can \Q out of it. That means it worked. Drop D. Yeah, if it's already installed. Is it already installed? I don't understand. So the server is something wrong with the server. But we'll get to it. Next, we're gonna install Python. We're gonna actually install the language Python. So if you brew install Python, it's probably gonna take me a while. I don't know why I did that. Updating homebrew. So it looks like I needed to update homebrew. So brew install Python. But if you type in, I'm sure, if you type in Python in the command, like I just did, click enter, yours more than likely will say Python 2.7 or something like that, which is not the Python version we want. So,
We have 3.7.
all right, well, you're good. Exit or Control D. So in order to have your Python be up to date with 3.7, you're going to want to run these commands. This touch tilde bash profile. That's going to actually create a bash profile. So if you create a bash profile by running this command, you're going to code your bash profile. Remember up here we installed that code command. So if I come down here, if I code my bash profile, it should open it up in VS Code. There you go. So here's my bash profile. And then you're going to copy this command, this export path user local bin Python, whatever path, into your bash profile. So you're like right here, you're going to copy this. And that ensures that when your system starts and when it's running Python, it uses Python 3.7. Control D. Is it Control C? Control D. So if I do Python, to get out of there, it's Control D. So ensure you save it. Save your bash profile. And then we want to reload our bash profile. So your bash profile is essentially anytime you start your computer, it runs this profile and makes sure that all of these commands, these are like, it's like customizing your system. Like all these commands will run and your laptop will execute these specific commands as when it starts up. So it's like custom to what you want. So you can create aliases and all kinds of stuff. Don't worry if yours doesn't look exactly like mine. It's okay. But ensure that this part is installed. So you're going to want to source. After you save your bash profile, you want to source it. That's reloading it. And now if you type in Python after you reload it, it should say 3.7.4. It can be anywhere in the profile. So do all that and stop. We're at Node Version Manager. And then we'll continue. So over the next 5 minutes at 11:25, we'll get started at the Node Version Manager. All right, we're gonna keep going. So we're gonna move on to the Node Version Manager. So if you type in brew install nvm, let's type in node. So I'm gonna do brew install nvm, and then again open up your bash profile and copy and paste this code in here. So brew install nvm. Once that's done, we're going to code our bash profile again. And then do copy and paste this code. Export nvm. When you brew install nvm, it's pretty much going to tell you to do this anyway. It's going to be like, it's pretty much going to give you this command. But see, yeah. So and then once you do that, anytime you put anything new in your bash profile, you want to reload that bash profile. So we want to do source tilde / bash profile. And then we're going to want to install actual node. So the Node Version Manager, this allows you to customize or allow you to have different versions of Node installed on your machine. Why that is important, because some applications, whether it's your job you're at, some applications you're going to be working on might use previous versions of Node. So this allows you to move between different versions of Node while you're working on those applications. And then we're going to reload our bash profile. Then we're going to actually install version 12 of Node. So I already did. If you ever want to know what version of Node you already have installed, you just type in Node. It's like, welcome to Node.js version 12.9.1. You can Command or Control D to get out of that. So I'm installing including checksum. So now using Node version 12.14. So if I type in Node, welcome to Node.js 12.14. Command D to get out of there, and then I typed in clear to clear the terminal. Give it a couple minutes to get there. It's okay if there's errors and you're not 100% following along. We will get you to, we will get everything installed.
It's out.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get started and install Git. Git is a version control manager that allows you to control different versions of your code. Just like, again, if you're not 100% following on, if you're encountering errors, that's okay. We will get you set up before the end of the day. So we're going to do brew install git. And then once we brew install git, we're going to type in which brew, or which, what is it, which git? Yeah, which git. Let's copy and paste this command. Nope. So user local bin git. After that, we're going to set up our global git ignore file by running the command touch tilde git ignore global. So if I do that, permissions denied. What? Oh, well. Did you run into that problem?
I'm constantly. I have to like individually like chmod every single file as well. They won't let me do super user. It's like, it is dangerous and root. Don't do it.
Oh, that's why. Touch. And then then we want to actually open up that file. Ignore file. By doing, we're not opening up this file, we're just creating that file, and then we're going to do git config global. That's it. So Git is going to allow us, Git allows us to control the different versions and, or different, like essentially different versions of our code. So for Git version control manager. But we're going to be utilizing GitHub to be pushing our code to GitHub because that's where we're going to be saving it. And every time you push to GitHub, you're going to have to type in your GitHub handle and your GitHub password. In order to prevent that, every time you push to GitHub, we're going to follow these steps to set up Git utilizing GitHub. We're going to like connect Git and GitHub together. So to set up command line, we're going to follow these three steps. We're going to set our username in Git. So we're going to set. So with their username, we're going to run git config. And this where it says Mona Lisa, that's actually your GitHub handle. So like mine is Tom Preet. Other people's are. Yes, I think it is. So like Ian Robertson's would be like Ian Robert.
What's our GitHub name?
Yes, it's actually your GitHub name. So like mine is concrete. So that's what you would do. And you can confirm that it is by doing git config global username. It's right there, concrete. After you do that, you're going to set up your Git line. This is essentially allowing Git to have access to your GitHub account. Follow these instructions about commit email addresses. If you just follow all the way down, it's setting up your commit email address in Git. The git config user or git config global user email, and then the email that you actually signed up with for Git to GitHub. And then it's going to prompt you to do some stuff. Do that. That's one of my personal email addresses that I use. And then finally, you're going to type in your password. So every time you push to GitHub, so you don't have to type in your password every single time. Install Git, blah, blah, blah. Just follow these instructions. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah, it's good.
I don't see what
If you don't remember the email address you signed up with, you can just go to upper right hand corner. It says settings, emails. I think you can do that. So if I want to look at what. Went to settings, count.
Do we set it up for the username and the email or just one?
You do all three of those. Username, email, and then cache your GitHub password so you don't have to type it in every single time you push to GitHub.
Okay.
So I'll pause recording there and give you a couple minutes to get your GitHub account set up. Actually, and then after you're done doing the GitHub, set VS Code as your global text editor for all things Git by running git config global core.editor code. And then once you've done all that, to confirm everything is set up, you can copy this git config global L. It'll say user.name, Tom Preet, user.email, Preet1316. Excludes files and get ignored global. And then the code editor. So I'll pause it right there up till 11:43, and we'll finish it up with installing bash. All right, we're going to keep going. The last thing we're going to install is bash. So there's a bunch of different terminal, like there's bash, there's like Zeesh or whatever, I don't even know. There's got a bunch of stuff you can. I don't know if it matters to us. If you're comfortable using a different, and if it works for you, and you don't encounter any errors as we're going through the program and commands and stuff, then. So you can do brew install bash. Updating homebrew, auto delete formula. Cool. So run brew install bash. But now we want to use like the newest version. So we want to do code etc shells, but it probably won't work because there we go. There we go. So if it opens up just by doing that, that's good. If it doesn't, you're gonna have to do sudo code. So that means like do it at the root level. And then add this user local bin bash to the very last line. Right here. These are all the different shells. The last two commands is this chsh, user local bin bash.
When I try to save it, so failed to save shells.
Yep, so it says sudo, if you, the directions. Yep, I'll try sudo. It's gonna ask you to probably type in the password. If it tells you to type in your password, yeah, type in your password because it needs it done at the root level. So when you run that. Next, if you close everything out or launch a new terminal, it should be a bash profile, or it should be not bash. It should be bash. And you can kind of tell because it has the $sign in front of it. Trying to get everything done before noon. Hopefully we can get